do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host.
Coming up next on Talk Today, we hear from the National Drug Council, hopefully. Later in the show, independent candidate for West Bay South, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, will join me in the studio. And we'll have lots of time, it looks like, for you to call in and let us know what's on your mind. So right now is just you and me. Stay with me.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen. Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, and whether you're just getting some lunch, driving around, trying to get some things done, or just sneaking some radio time at work, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here on Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. Well, I was hoping to be able to talk to the National Drug Council, but we're waiting to see if they're going to make it here. Maybe there's some problem. In the meantime, let me give you some numbers if you want to call in and tell us what's on your mind. Lots of things to have an opinion about these days. Telephone numbers, and this is free. No credits taken from you for this call. 1-800-534-8255. That's compliments of flow. 949-8037, 949-6990. Or you can WhatsApp us, 925-3261. And you can also send us a message if you don't feel like talking, and I'll try to get those out. Easter is coming up. A lot of people going down to the beaches and getting out there with nature, just getting back there and sleeping out in the open. Well, be careful what you do, though. There's a few guidelines that have been issued by the government. Camping on public beaches this Easter, here's what you need to know. Easter camping in Cayman's public beaches is a cherished tradition. When did it start, anyway? And it's officially welcomed during the designated holiday periods. Residents can camp without a permit, while non-residents must apply for one through the Public Lands Commission. Thinking of lighting a bonfire? Well, think twice. A $50 permit is required. Please remember, camping on private land without the owner's permission is trespassing. Pets are welcome, but owners must ensure they are always controlled and do not threaten people or local wildlife. Be considerate with music and noise levels, and remember, cabanas are not to be used for camping. You got to have your tent or your lean-to or something like that, right? I remember going when before the boardwalk and all of that down at South Sound. Was driving along there, and the whole beach there was lined with tents, and interesting enough, you're camping out, but I saw people with TVs, little battery-operated TVs, and all these other portable conveniences, and I'm thinking about, I thought you were going back to nature. You're supposed to get out there, kind of rough it, be one with nature, right? When did this Easter camping get started in Cayman, anyway? Because I don't remember it as a child. I mean, I know I'm no spring chicken, but I left with my mother to go to the U.S. When I was 10 years old, but I don't remember people camping. Anybody know when that's all got started? What's the whole idea behind camping? What spurred this movement? Because it is a big thing for Caymanians. But it would be interesting to hear some background on that. Anybody out there know what the camping thing is all about, how it got started? That would be an interesting part of our culture to delve into and see how that came about. So if you know, give me a call. I want to remind you also that tonight at 7:30, Radio Cayman will be carrying the debates from Cayman Brac. I think all except one candidate is going to be on at 7:30. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman candidates for the election that's coming up at the end of the month. And that should be a very interesting one. What have we got? We're going to have about 4 people on. I think that's 4 or 5 people on that we'll be hearing on. I think we'll be minus one candidate. So be sure to tune in tonight, 7:30. You can hear what's happening in the Brac and what those candidates are talking about over there. That should be a very interesting race as we go into the final 2 weeks here. Things start to get very serious in the last 2 weeks. You see the gloves come off then. People are trying to get all their points in. So 7:30 tonight, the Cayman Brac candidates will be taking to the air on Radio Cayman. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Remember, you can give me a call.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
I hope you're ready for change. Cause I know I am.
Cayman ranking. Ah, yeah. Foot. Born and raised, Cayman strong. Northward roots where I belong. Cayman ranking is the way to vote. Ranking. Cayman ranking. We need. Ranking. Cayman ranking. We need. Ranking is the medicine that Cayman needs right now. That Cayman needs right now.
The future of Bontown West is in your hands. The time for change is now.
Your voice matters. Your vote counts.
If you or someone you know may have difficulty getting to your designated polling locations on General Election and Referendum Day on the 30th of April, you should apply for mobile voting.
You don't have to miss your chance to vote.
If you're in the hospital, a rest home, or are unable to leave your home, if you have a physical disability that makes it difficult to vote in person, or if you'll be working on General Election and Referendum Day and will be unable to get to the polls,
apply for mobile voting. The deadline to apply is the 17th of April. Visit elections.ky or call 949-8047 for more information and assistance. Your vote matters, and the Elections Office wants to make sure it's heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. We have open mic here. You can give me a call and talk about whatever is on your mind, whatever's bothering you, whatever you would like to give some credit to. Phone numbers again, 1-800-534-8255 and 949-6990. WhatsApp 925-3261. So what do you think about the Georgetown revitalization that's been going on? I see they just finished doing that right there in front of the post office. That's a whole brand new thing. Someone was telling me they can't tell where the road is and where the pedestrian crossings are. Or you look at it, it looks like just an open plaza. Where's the road? What do you think? Good thing? I also heard that a couple of businesses had to close down because of all that work that was going on. That's unfortunate that there was some business casualties that happened because people couldn't get to those businesses. You would think there would be provisions to make sure that didn't happen. So what do you think about what's going on downtown? And of course we have the elections coming up. Well, I understand we have someone on the line, so let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon. I heard you talking about where the campaign originated.
Yes.
But I'm thinking that the campaign originated from the Easter picnics because back in the 70s, remember now we used to have the Easter Monday picnic.
Right.
And everybody used to go to the beaches then for those days. But then they used to have such a good time, they decided then that they would camp out overnight. So I know the Leader families were very instrumental in starting that, especially my sister, Twyla Vargas. She and her husband, he's now passed away. They buried him last week. Howell Andrews. They used to camp up there in Vickers, and they had a big tent. And it just branched out from that, and that was from the 80s. And then people just started picking it up, going camping then after that in Easter.
So it got started in Breakers?
Basically in Breakers. Because Miss Dina Webster and them, they used to do a lot of the picnicking on the beaches. And like I said, they used to have such a good time, they didn't want to leave the beach. So they would sometimes they would stay overnight.
Yeah, I remember the picnics. That was always a big tradition.
Yes. So that's how the tradition started.
So you said that this started around the 1980s, that people started to get into the camping?
Yes, around the 80s, late 80s. Because I remember when I was in my teens, those days, we didn't even have the elaborate stuff with tents and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We would just go with the tarpaulin, and then you just put that down on the beach and lie down there in the night. But sometimes the rain would come and wet us up, and the crabs would crawl across us in the night.
So you better prop up that tarpaulin to make sure you didn't get wet.
Yes, right. You used to prop up the tarpaulin so you're not to get wet. And we didn't have all fancy food.
Right.
We'd have bun and cheese, or a lot of people would then just fishing from the sea and catch little stuff and then fry up right there on the beach.
So you're really getting back with nature when
really,
back in the day.
Really. Back in the day. And that's how the Leavers still do it. In fact, they still camp a lot in Bordentown, and they fishing during the camping season. Like they go and catch some fish and they cook it right there on the beach and eat.
That's camping. That's really doing it.
Yeah, and they make the fire like a little fire where you keep away mosquitoes at night.
Right.
Because you didn't have any lamp like those days, so you would have to put up. You would rake up all the leaves and put them in one pile, and you use that to keep the mosquitoes and stuff away. And you put the green leaves on top of it in the night so that it would keep smoking.
Okay.
And yes, and keep the mosquitoes away from off you. So that's how the camping started.
Well, thank you very much, because even someone sent a WhatsApp message saying they were wondering how it got started too.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's how it really got started.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your call.
You're very welcome. Have a wonderful day.
And you have a wonderful day and a wonderful Easter.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we have someone else on the line. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing?
Fine, and you?
All right.
You were talking about downtown Georgetown.
Uh-huh.
I have never seen anywhere so more confusing, and that center of Georgetown there by the post office. I've never seen. You don't know which way to turn. You don't know when to stop. You got to use your judgment. You don't know who's next driving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see them got one makeshift pedestrian things sitting there and somewhere down the road, but they don't got nothing marked off saying this is pedestrian. They ain't got nothing to mark off. You're just taking your chance in driving straight or turning right around the post office, and you got two lanes there, and then you got this little dip. You got to go down and it's still dip. So I'm just wondering now, if and when we get some real good rain, does that mean that the water going to just slide down?
Yeah, it's going to pool right there.
Going down towards the Thompson building there and the the bank, the First Caribbean Bank and so forth. It don't look too bad for the amount of money that they spent and the time. You would think you were getting the streets of gold to walk on and drive on and to look at as you drive. You understand? It's to me, it's not really 100% in order. Because, like I said, there's no pedestrian crossing there, and they should be knowing that they got visitors coming down there, and our locals are down there shopping and carrying on. So the post office has no pedestrian crossing, no more like it had before.
It looks as if it's that red and white strip that goes across the street that is supposed to be for the... But people don't know that.
I haven't seen none there. I mean, if they're using the tiles to be red strips to cross, then they are crazy. They need to give some other identification.
Yeah. But I was looking at some pedestrians there, and I think some people are almost take it that it's just an open plaza, that pedestrians can just walk anywhere.
Exactly. There's no safety down into Georgetown, especially when you got cars going straight ahead and you got cars turning by the post office. You got 2 lanes there by the post office going back, what do you call that, east, going towards A.L. Thompson and First Caribbean.
Towards Sheldon Road.
Going towards Sheldon Road, yes. And there's no guidelines, no nothing. I know me not no bunch of idiots, but you're going to spend that amount of time on that road down there and calling it a partial pedestrian. We should have some sort of information. We should have some sort of signs down there stating, so we don't go down and get tickets and someone walk out in front of us and get hit accidental. We got to use our own, we got to use our own common sense. Don't get me wrong, but if you're going to put that kind of money, whatever they put in it, and taking so long to build it, I mean, come on, man, it should be A1.
Yeah, but hopefully it's not 100% complete. Maybe they have a few things to touch up to make it a better routing. That you know exactly where your lane is. Because right now you don't know where the lane is. They have some something pylons or something that is marking where you're supposed to go, but that can't be permanent. So
it sure devil can. But anyhow, that's Cayman. Thank you. You have a good one.
You too. Have a good Easter. Yes, if you've not gone down there, it is a little confusing as to exactly where you're supposed to go, especially if you're like going around the post office there, and if you're a pedestrian, where do I walk? Where's the crossing? Right now, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and find out more about what's on your mind. It's your show right now.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not, we won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Kirk Freeport's Easter at Bayshore is back. Hop over to the Bayshore Mall on Saturday, April 19th from 4 to 6 p.m. for an extra special Easter celebration. Meet the Easter Bunny, enjoy sweet treats, and join the fun with the scavenger hunt, chocolate prizes, plus face painting, games, and more. And the best part? It's all free, including free parking behind the Bayshore Mall. Visit KirkFreeport.com for details. Happy Easter from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we have open mic here. If you want to talk about something, please give us a call. Before we go to the phone lines, though, let me just read a couple of WhatsApp messages here. This person is saying, very good question regarding the camping. I have the same question. It's another imported activity, which is termed as a Cayman tradition. Well, we heard an explanation of how camping developed. So I guess if it was imported, it was imported from breakers, Town. It all started there, it seems, from one of our callers. So these things happen. I mean, somebody just starts doing something and it catches on. I mean, the thing about culture is a living, developing thing. It doesn't stay stagnant, things change. But this person says, our real tradition was and still should be remembering and commemorating what Easter is really all about. And let's see here. We've got a reminder that the deadline to apply for mobile and postal voting is tomorrow, 17th of April. If you're unable to vote in person on the 30th of April, apply tomorrow, and ensure your voice is heard in the General Election and Referendum. And of course, that's specifically for people who are unable to get out for whatever reason, mostly because perhaps you're incapacitated, you just can't stand in line and go to the polls. So make sure, if you need that type of assistance, to apply for it by tomorrow to the elections office. Let's go back to the phone calls. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon. I just have a question I'm hoping you or some of your listeners might be able to shed some light on.
Okay.
That's the old Hyatt Regency property, the skeletal remains.
Yes.
Are now becoming covered with graffiti. And I remember some years ago, government told the owners, listen, if you don't clean it up, you're going to be fined $10,000 a day.
I remember that.
And nothing ever happened with that. That would have been a wonderful source of revenue. But now, 20-plus years later, we're still looking at that, as are our visitors, and it frankly is looking pretty ghetto. I'm hoping something can be done about that. It was such a fabulous, pristine, wonderful property back in its day, and
True.
It saddens me every time I drive by it, but nothing. You don't hear anything about it, and it's just not the presentation we would like our visitors to see. Thank you.
The caller's right. I remember that. There was a big thing about dilapidated buildings had to be taken care of by a certain time, or else there would be a daily fine. Well, that one's still there, and it was such a beautiful property, as the caller said. But of course, the hurricane took it. Let's go to, we have a WhatsApp caller, so let's take that one. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes. Welcome.
Yes, I heard you speaking concerning revitalization in Georgetown.
Downtown, yes. What do you think about
one
it?
One thing is good about that is that they put those bricks.
Mm-hmm.
Because the asphalt causes a lot of heat, especially when it's brand new. So the idea of putting those bricks there was an awesome idea.
It looks beautiful. I tell you that. It looks really good.
And it keeps the place cooler also. Because when you put down that asphalt and that's brand new, and when the wind hits that, it can be terrible.
But have you seen the piece in front of the post office?
Yes.
Do you find it
Um,
confusing as to where pedestrians are supposed to go and where cars are supposed to go?
Well, at first it might be confusing, but after you use it, after a while, you'll get used to it and know exactly what you need to do in that area when it comes to driving or even someone walking. But the idea of those bricks in the middle of Georgetown was an awesome idea. And because of climate change, people who are developing in residential areas concerning when they're building homes should also consider this, putting bricks instead of asphalt. Because when you put brand new asphalt and you're sitting on your front porch and the wind hits that asphalt, it's a terrible heat that comes into your house and anywhere you are in your yard. And like I said, because of climate change, things are only getting hotter. And if we allow people to continue putting asphalt in all areas in the Cayman Islands, that island is going to be very hot.
I guess we still have to use it for roads.
Yes, the main roads are okay. But if people can avoid putting asphalt in residential areas.
You mean roads leading up to people's on a street that has houses on it?
Well, the public roads are okay with the asphalt. But residential areas, if people are able to put something else besides asphalt, because you remember back in the day when we had mile roads?
Oh, yeah. I
You
bumped
remember
my
how
toe
much cooler it was?
quite a few of those.
You remember how much cooler it was then?
Well, yeah.
It was a lot cooler then. You could walk from East End to West Bay on a mile road and probably not sweat as much as you would today if you walk from East End to West Bay on a brand new asphalt road. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Have a good one. Okay, we have another caller. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling Talk Today.
Afternoon to you, Charles.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, but my island is not doing all right.
Well, what's on your mind, man?
How much time you got?
about 7 minutes.
No, I'm talking months, years.
Oh.
All right. For me to tell you what is happening, because, I mean, our elected officials just had blind eyes. Charles, answer me a question. What is the most important part of building a house?
Foundation?
You know that. Oh, my God. I'm surprised that you knew that. I really am, because our planning department doesn't seem to realize that is the most crucial part of any construction is your foundation.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't have that, you have nothing in the long run. You have nothing. Right?
Well, you find yourself sinking into the ground.
Well, it's only a matter of time, because, Charles, half of those people in the planning department should not be there, because their values and their interests that is into this country is not there. And what I see going on now with building, they should be ashamed of themselves, because I've been in construction all of my life, not anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And I know when you never put your foundation down on top of what is there. You always have to get a backhoe or something of heavy equipment and dig out. Because you have to dig out a proper foundation and remove it. What they're doing now is just filling.
Where you're breaking up there. If you're on a speakerphone, maybe it would help if you didn't use a speakerphone.
All right, let me hold on.
Because we lost you for a bit. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, yes. Yeah, we got you.
You got me?
Yeah.
Charles, half of these people that are
much
in
better.
the planning department should not be there because they have no knowledge about anything, right? And I had an experience where I was assisting a family member of mine with a foundation, right? And I did things no different from the way I've been doing it all of my life. And nothing has changed, right? This man comes along. I'm not there. The family member was there, and the other assistant that he had helping him. And this man came and tell him, one of the inspectors, that is not one of us, came and told them that it had to be a certain thing, what you call pavers under the concrete. When I went back and saw what they did, took all of the stuff all of the blocks that I had break up, and made sure that the steel rods was evenly spaced in between the height of the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
And when I went by there, everything was done. I said, who did this? Oh, the inspector said this is not accepted. Right? So I knew better than that. Right? So, but before I contacted this inspector, right, I went direct to planning, and planning told me there is nothing in the planning requirements or laws or anything else that it have to be cement pavers. So when I approached the inspector about it, right, he tried to get around everything. Well, yes, that is required and this and that. So finally, after I couldn't, finally he would not admit that he was wrong. I say, okay, here is the deal. I went direct to planning, and this is who I spoke to, and they told me that nothing is required like that, right? So I said, after I told him this, I say, why are you misleading people? I mean, this is totally wrong. I say, you know the money that it costs me to break up blocks, put them under pay labor. I didn't pay the labor. The family member did.
Mm-hmm.
Paid to get it done, and the laborers that got, and then labor to take it back out and go and buy pavers. Oh, then he say, the pavers was only $50. I say, what about the blocks that I broke up to put under there, and the man hours that put them there and had to take them back out. I say, what about that? I say, you cannot mislead people like this. And it seems like they're only doing it to Caymanians. So I made some inquiries. I got some other friends, which is, you know what nationality I'm talking about. I asked them, I said, tell me something. You have any issues with this particular inspector? No. Everything good. No problems at all. I say, well, you know what? I wish I could say the same thing, because what this man is doing is not good for Caymanians, and they should not be in positions in this country, because they have no love for this country. They have no love for Caymanians. All they want to do is make it as hard as they possibly can to we, the people of this country. That is why certain people shouldn't be in certain positions in this country, because they don't care, right? They just, you put a stripe on them, and they figure they're God. They can do anything they want, and this is totally wrong, Charles.
Well, it sounds like a really bad situation that you were dealing with. We're coming up on news time, so I'm going to have to thank you for your call, and look forward to speaking to you again.
Thank you.
You have a good Easter.
Bye.
All right. Yes, we are approaching news time, and I understand that the elections office is outside waiting to come in and give us some updates on what's going to be happening as we come up on our election. Well, we're just at about 1 o'clock, so let's check in with the newsroom.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your latest headlines. Customs and Border Control's Visa and Extensions Office is extending its hours on Thursday, the 17th of April, and Tuesday, the 22nd of April, in order to accommodate the expected increase in demand surrounding the Easter holiday period. On both days, the office will open an hour earlier at 7:30 a.m., but they will still be closing at 4 p.m. as usual. Regular service hours will resume on Wednesday, the 23rd of April. In regional headlines, the St. Kitts Nevis government says it plans to present to Parliament Thursday legislation aimed at providing long overdue pension security to thousands of government auxiliary employees. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew said that the comprehensive pension bill will also cover crossing guards, environmental workers, hospital maids, and drain maintenance staff who have served the Twin Island Federation without adequate post-retirement support. A 21-member Caribbean Community Joint Task Force Haiti relief team is being deployed to Haiti to support the Kenya-led multinational security support mission in the French-speaking CARICOM country, where a security and political crisis is in full swing. The UN Security Council in 2023 passed a resolution for the MSS aimed at combating gang violence and restoring stability in the country. Criminal gangs are seeking to take complete control of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and have launched several attacks, killing women and children, among others. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Historically, Caymanians have always had a strong connection to the sea, as it provided career opportunities, food supply, means of travel, and communication with the rest of the world. Caymanian sailors became renowned worldwide for being skilled navigators, shipbuilders, fishermen, merchants, and soldiers. A vast amount of Caymanian mariners were employed by Daniel K. Lugwood's giant shipping line, National Boat Carriers. This career impacted Caymanian communities at large. One such story was that of the last voyage of the St. Clair Petrolor vessel, which exploded whilst at sea on December 6, 1960, with 29 Caymanians on board. The final trip started in November 1960 from Marcus Hook in Philadelphia via the Suez Canal onto Ras Tanura in the Persian Gulf. The ship was 789 feet long, could carry 56,000 tons of cargo, and was powered by a General Electric steam engine, 26,000 horsepower. The vessel was a unique one in that it was a self-unloading oil ore carrier and could carry both solid and liquid cargo at the same time.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land.
Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. Cayman goes to the polls on the 30th of April, and we're going to get some information now directly from the Elections Office. Joining me in the studio are Wesley Howell. He is the Supervisor of Elections, and Deputy Supervisor of Elections, Sheena Glasgow. Folks, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us, as always. We're happy to be on Radio Cayman. Well, I'm a little bit biased, but always happy to be on Radio Cayman.
How are things going?
Well, first off, good afternoon to your listening and viewing audience, because I think we're doing the YouTube stuff as well. We're extremely busy, but it is quite organized, and we're counting down the days and checking off the list as we head into the deadline for mobile and postal voting tomorrow, application for mobile and postal voting, and then next week is our mobile voting week, and the following week is the general election. So in between that, we have a couple of major Easter holidays as well. Unfortunately, I think most of our team will be working through most of the Easter weekend.
No holiday.
No camping for us. I heard a bit of your show before I came on, so we'll be camping at the office in front of the computers and and all the work that we have to do between now and then.
May need to take a pillow.
I've heard people saying, "Oh, so many candidates." How does the number this election compare to former elections?
We've had more candidates running before. I think I checked back a few election cycles, and we had 63 at one point. So we've had much more. I looked at a ballot paper when we were doing the ballot paper design for the combined ballot, and we had 29 candidates running in at that time one electoral district, of which you could choose 6. So that was Georgetown. Might have been 2013, might have been 2009. But yeah, so we've had some really long ballot papers, and we've had more candidates in the fray when we've had the traditional districts and the multi-members running. Yeah.
And this is the first time in some while that we've had a number of parties competing.
Yes. So we have 3 registered parties. I think this is the first time in recent time that we've had that many registered as well. Typically, going back a few cycles, it would be 2 UDP and the Progressives were there. In 2021, as Miller was starting up another party, but that one is no longer registered, so we have the 3 on the register now. But the vast majority are we still have a significant number of individuals who are running as independent.
Ms. Glasgow, we're coming up on a deadline here for the mobile voting.
Postal and mobile.
Postal, okay.
Postal and mobile.
Tell us what is involved with those 2 elements.
First of all, stop palavering. Don't delay. Don't wait until 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. Get on with it sooner rather than later. But all jokes aside, serious jokes. For postal ballots, the idea is to facilitate registered voters who are going to be overseas on election day. So who are going to be off island, not within any of the 3 Cayman Islands, but actually outside of the country on the 30th of April. So they can apply. All of our forms are on the elections website. They would then submit that form. Usually for the postal ballots, they need to submit some sort of proof. So college students would normally attach like a student ID. Someone who resides here but is traveling would provide a copy of their travel itinerary showing, when they're leaving and hopefully when they're returning. Submit that application for a postal ballot, it goes to the registering officer for whatever electoral district the voter is registered in. And from there, the registered officer sees whether they are approved or not. And then when it's approved, it sets off a whole ball of action in the background. On the other side of it, there is the mobile voting, which is meant for persons who are going to be in country on election day, but because of their jobs or because they might be sick and in hospital or in a restroom, non-ambulatory within their own homes, they're just not able to come out and vote, whether it be something physical or work demands. So usually the emergency services personnel who are already scheduled to work on the 30th would apply for a mobile ballot, as have all of our election volunteers. So because we're all going to be working long hours on the 30th.
Into the night. Next morning, maybe.
Yes. We will then take advantage of the mobile voting opportunities next week within our respective electoral districts. Again, form is online for those of you who prefer the traditional hard paper copy. That's available too from our friendly staff in the elections office.
And
what are the hours
Miss
there?
Ellen in the Brack.
And from Miss Ellen in the Brack, yes, thank you.
What are the hours at the election office?
What do we know? 8:30 to 6?
We're open 8:30 to 6, 9 to 6. Weekdays, 10 to 3 on the weekends. Will be closed to the public on Good Friday, but we'll be open on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I want to clarify something, because I know she made a point of being in country. So if someone's registered in Cayman Brack, or vice versa, someone's registered in Grand Cayman, but they must be on another island, can they get a postal ballot?
So no, the law doesn't permit that. That was a conversation that Mr. Connor had on his show, might actually been this show, a week or two ago, and there used to be a provision in the law which relates to postal ballots that if you were living and working in another island, so the way that the law read was if you had to go by boat or by plane to vote, then you could vote by postal. That provision was ripped out from the law, and there was no other mechanism put in to compensate for that. So unfortunately, the postals can't be issued to anyone in country, even if you're on a different island. So and the ballot papers are all specific to a particular electoral district. So the Cayman Brack candidate ballots, which is combined with the referendum ballots, it's on the same paper, are only available in Cayman Brack. So you couldn't go in if you might be living in West Bay or you're at Hell City. There'll be no Cayman Brack ballot there unless you've applied for mobile. We then fly the entire team over from Cayman Brack. Returning officer, presiding officer, poll clerks, police officer, the agents can come along to make sure that process is transparent, and we'll go to that person and have them vote here, and then when they're finished, we fly them back to the Brack. So that process is not designed for the persons who have the luxury of having more than one house on different islands and just happen to be here on one particular day. Those persons who are not working, who don't qualify for mobile as set out in the law, would have to then travel back. Similar to somebody who's registered Northside living in West Bay, they would have to drive to Northside to do their thing. Unfortunately, these folks would have to fly.
So the mobile voting, I mean, that's quite an undertaking for you then.
It is a massive undertaking. The amount of planning and logistics that go into that is quite tremendous, because effectively you're requesting that the polling station come to you.
Yeah. It's quite a few number of people that you got to get together and go to this person's home.
Yes.
So what are some examples, specific examples of people who would qualify for this?
Individuals that are working for emergency services. We have some police officers who are registered in the Brack. They're currently posted in Grand Cayman. with the police service working on election day, those persons would qualify. Persons who are registered in BRAC who are in hospital on Grand Cayman, Health City or HSA, those would all apply. Persons with disabilities, that would require them to have special treatment in Grand Cayman.
Is it the Pines, the prison?
Yeah, the prison, all those things. But if you happen to have multiple homes and you're over here short term, there's no restriction on you on election day moving around, then you don't fit into that category of mobile voting. Then you wouldn't qualify. But that decision is actually made by the registering officer. So in this case, for BRAC and Little Cayman voters, they would go to Miss Ellen Lazary, and she would process the forms, collect the details about where they are, and then process the application for mobile voting.
Now, if you apply online, everything is done online. I mean, you submit it online, and the approval comes back in an email or something, or
yeah. So when you do the online submission form, one of the fields that you enter is your email address. When you hit submit, you get a copy, and then we get a copy, and a copy goes to the database, and then that's just forwarded on to the registering officer for processing. So my son is away at university, and he did his on his cell phone. You can actually, the forms require a signature. He was able to sign with his fingertips, and he had someone witness it, and they were able to sign with their fingertips, and he hit submit. He's like, that's like, it took me 90 seconds to get it done. I'm like, yeah, perfect. So it doesn't take very long.
Do a lot of young people that are away take advantage of this?
We have gotten quite a number of young people. Now, I'll hasten to say that our voter register, as it relates to the different segments, is still significantly underrepresented for the young voters between 18 and, say, 23. My estimation is that we have somewhere in the region of 2,500, 3,000 Caymanian voters in that age group who are eligible to register to vote, who haven't actually registered to vote. And we did spend quite a bit of money targeting them, specifically through social media and other means. So did the Ministry of Youth as well. So we had big turnout numbers, but still not big enough to get all those on.
We got some more in there.
Yeah.
Susan, did you say we have a caller? No? Okay, all right. I noticed that you'd put out an announcement about candidates who might want to go with the team to do this mobile voting. You put a stop to that.
Yes. Well,
nice way of putting it.
Well, yes. So it's so that mobile voting has been around now for several cycles, and it was a relatively understood process that candidates didn't do that. Last election, we had more candidates than the election before show up and wanted to go up with the mobile voting, and it actually did cause issues. Police officers had to step in at some points where the voters felt very strongly that they didn't want a particular candidate in their house. Right?
I can understand that.
Yeah. So when we were going through our operational orders for the staff working on mobile day, I took an opportunity. It was a Saturday, so it was quiet at the office. Took back and reread the law, and in a section that covers who can be present at mobile voting, the law was quite specific. The wording was, the agent of a candidate is entitled to be present, but there was no mention of candidate in that particular section. So going back and rereading the section of the law that defines polling station, we all know that the mobile polling is a polling station, but it's a different definition. So at the end of the legalese, took some legal advice from Attorney General Chambers and came back and said, the law precludes the candidates from being present. So we made sure that we sent that notice out to advise them they couldn't be present, and to remind them that they needed to then appoint agents that would be present for them. And by the way, while I'm on that, their agent appointment deadline is this Sunday, the 20th. So if they don't appoint agents, then they won't have agents for mobile voting, and they won't have agents for polling or counting. So just reminding them that they also have a deadline.
2 days coming up here is
lots of deadlines. I mean, we've been counting
important for the elected.
We've been counting down deadlines since December 4th when we issued the writs. So it's all been a matter of counting the days.
Mr. Howell, you neglected to give today's countdown. Generally, every time we make any sort of appearance or have a meeting. Mr. Howell starts off with how many days we have left until the 30th.
So we have 13 days, 17 hours, 39 minutes, and 45 seconds until the polls open at 7 a.m. on the morning of.
Candidates, you got that? You got that down to the second?
I'm sure they know.
And voters as well. Yes.
Now, how do you think that the night is going to go? When are we going to start getting the first numbers in?
Yeah.
You mean during the count?
Yeah.
Okay.
So somebody's being really persistent. We'll call me here. I keep hanging up, but they keep calling back. We had our training session with our final training session with the staff that are doing the tallying. So the returning officers are doing the counts, them and their deputies, and the tally clerks. It was taking anywhere from sort of 7-8 seconds to up to 15 seconds to count the ballot paper. So the ballot paper, when they're counting that, they will call the name of the candidate that has a vote for them. And then we would then have them call cruise berthing, and then they have to say whether it's a yes or a no. And then, or rejected if nobody voted for it. They would reject that particular referendum question. Then they go on to national lottery, yes, no, or rejected. And cannabis, yes, no, rejected. That process is repeated for every ballot that we go through, and the ballots are then shown to everybody in the room.
Are the questions going to be on the same sheet of paper?
All on the same sheet.
With the candidates?
All with the candidates. Yes. It's a combined ballot paper, and it's a combined count. So in all electoral districts except for East and North Side, Kimmerock East and Kimmerock West and Little Cayman will have dual counts going on. So because we knew it was going to take longer to count a ballot paper that had one candidate's name and then 3 options for referendum questions, we appointed some additional deputy returning officers to assist with that count. So that count is happening. We still think that we'll be around that midnight area for the larger electoral districts that have more ballots to count. But it's going to be heavily affected by the number of postal ballots that are being processed. So when postal ballots come back, they are sealed up in envelopes and kept in the ballot box until the polls close. And then they're opened up, and they're sort of, you check your declaration of identity to make sure that match the ballot paper envelope. Then the ballot paper envelope goes in a basket when all your identities are finished checking. And we're also checking to make sure that no candidate or agent witnessed any of those declarations, because that's an offense and would actually spoil the vote of the voter. Once that's done, they then check to make sure that the envelope and the ballot paper's numbers match, and then the ballot paper is deposited in the box. Once all that's done, the postal ballots are mixed in with the poll booth 1 ballot box, so are the mobile votes. That then combined, we then can start counting. So there's a process that will start. So the first numbers probably won't be out until 8 o'clock, 9:30 on that night, but then should progress relatively quickly after that.
So opening those postal ones is what's
going to take some time.
It just depends on them. When do they have to have that back to you?
Postal ballots have to be back in the hand of the returning officer by 6 p.m. when the polls close on election day. The ones that we're sending out by courier, we're prepaying for the couriers to get back to us. The deadline for them really is not the 30th. If you send them by courier, it's the 29th, has to be back on island because the couriers advise that there's no, because election day is a holiday, referendum day is a holiday, there are no incoming aircraft that will be bringing ballots on the 30th. So they have to be brought in and delivered to us on the 29th.
So you gotta
everything is deadlines.
Watch the calendar on
everything is deadlines, absolutely.
Hence my opening with don't delay.
Get on with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you have described is very involved process. That do you think we'll ever see computerized balloting in Cayman?
So the main reason that folks move to computerized balloting is really around getting the results faster. And if we can do a very transparent manual count where every ballot paper that comes out of the box is visible to everybody in the room, then I think we will continue on with this manual process for some time. Some other countries have tried tabulation machines so that they count faster. and some countries have gone all the way through to electronic voting. Our national ID platform is built on some technology that's being used in Estonia, and I know that they have online voting, so you can use your digital ID card, and because that's unique to you, you can use that to go in and cast your vote. And if you change your mind, you can go back and as long as the date hasn't passed, you can go back and change your vote.
That's an interesting twist.
And I did ask that why you allow people to change their votes. Well, we contemplated that somebody might be pressured to vote a certain way, and after the person who's pressured them has left, they can go back and change their vote to what they wanted it to be for themselves. So they were thinking ahead. Turks and Caicos used tabulation machines in their February elections, and they have a number of election petitions about that whole process that have gone to their grand court. So we'll see how
the
that
paper ballot just keeps it very
it's
simple.
very straightforward. There's so many checks and balances that it is a very, so I mean, the only thing that isn't transparent in the way that we do things is how somebody marks their ballot paper. That is kept secret, but everything else, we publish the list of the persons who have issued postal ballots to. We publish the list of persons who have voted by mobile. We provide those lists to the agents that are there on the day of, so nobody can vote twice without raising an alarm. And when the count happens, again, it's a very intimate one-on-one count where the ballot paper is shown while it's recorded, and we move on.
Now, finally, I would say there's the cost consideration. As the cost of moving to something electronic justified by our population? Let me clarify. Justified by our voting population, because that's different from our population. So there are some balances there that would need to take place.
So as long as we're dealing with the population the size that we have, the voting population, everything can be very transparent. You can't say, oh, they rigged the machines, and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Now, I noticed you said that a ballot can be inspected by people there at the count. Are people representing different sides of the referendum questions? Are they going to have an agent there that can I see that ballot?
Yes. So under the Referendum Act, there are a number of observers that can be appointed. So the governor can appoint observers. The leader of the opposition could appoint observers, and the premier could appoint observers. Because it is a combined referendum election on the same ballot paper, candidates are appointing their agents who will be present, and it's a dual count, it's all on one sheet, so there will be some checks and balances there to ensure that process is transparent. But absolutely, yes, if individuals had made representation and the governor felt it was necessary, then she would be able to appoint
So the people on the two sides of, say, the cruise ship infrastructure would have to, say, go to the governor and say, we would like to have a representative.
Yeah, so, and this is a point that I had to make to some individuals, that this is not a people's-initiated referendum where there's an organization or a group of individuals who have been championing the referendum and is effectively the ones that are bringing the referendum forward. This is a government-initiated referendum, so the stakeholders then are not officially a party to the referendum, and then would have to make specific recommendations. But from what I've seen, most of the stakeholders are aligned with some political entity or the other, whether it be a candidate or a party, and through those I've seen some persons who were sort of previously observers when we did start the cruise port referendum 2019, I think that was. Some of those persons are now serving as agents for candidates in the election. So we do have considerable oversight into what's going on.
Well, let's wrap it up with just giving us a recap of the important deadlines coming up in the next few days.
So the deadline to apply for postal and mobile ballots is the 17th, tomorrow, midnight, Thursday. And we will be issuing the final postal ballots on Saturday, given that Friday is Good Friday and a public holiday. Then the next deadline, well, we have a number of electoral districts scheduled for mobile voting next week. It's all on the website. Check the elections website, and it's detailed in the program. So that's all next week. The 20th is the deadline for candidates to appoint their agents.
Yep.
The 29th is the deadline for candidates to appoint their super agent. And again, we encourage them not to leave it for the last moment. And then 30th, we roll out and go to the polls. Did I miss anything,
Big
Mr.
day.
Howell?
No, that's
all right.
All right.
And in between, within the office, we hope to get some sleep.
We've been hearing from Wesley Howell, the Supervisor of Elections, and Deputy Supervisor of Elections, Sheena Glasgow. Thank you all for coming in and giving us this update.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
It's 1:30. Let's take a break.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Listen, your friends, I know I want to go enjoy some Easter camping this year. I going to, but let me remind in a quick time. Littering is a crime. Only leave your footprints behind. Take your trash with you. A message from the Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
Welcome back to Talk Today. Cayman's general election is 2 weeks away, and in this segment, we're going to be hearing from independent candidate for West Bay South, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and Red Bay independent candidate, Philip Ebanks. Welcome back, gentlemen. I guess we can pick it up where we left off. What was it, Monday you were on?
Monday, I don't know about anybody else, but pleasant good afternoon to you and to Phil, Chalo, and to the entire Cayman Islands. And I've always said that as citizens in the country who are eligible to get registered to vote, that they should, because it's so important to be able to champion a democracy. I would always share in any capacity. I don't think it's improper, if anything, it's incumbent, that as citizens, we should get engaged in the electoral process, first and foremost, by getting registered to vote if we're eligible, but also getting involved in a campaign, either you yourself as a candidate or supporting somebody you think, from the campaigning to the canvassing, from chairing the meetings to bringing chairs to the meeting, to seeing the electoral process in a democracy unfold. And it is not just sobering and humbling. It's actually an opportunity to see your country at its best and at its worst. Phil and I are here again. He extended an invitation to join him. I reciprocated, not just quid pro quo. It's the importance to share with the country that you may have disparate views. You may not necessarily have the exact view on how something should be done, but if the objective is to achieve a particular thing, then how do you align not just your synergies, but allow your individual dispositions, your pride, whatever it is, right, to be put aside for the greater good, to serve the interest of the country. As an example, Phil put forward a proposal, one of many, my view only, and knowing that I have a different view on it, it is a view that encourages people to say, here are two people. He's in Red Bay, I'm in West Bay South. Contesting a seat, if elected, we end up in the same place, members of parliament. If elected, whether we are able to align, whether we have difference of opinion, he's on A and I'm on B. We need to work for the betterment of the country. When it comes to people being able to afford a home, in the Cayman context, that's a dream that we all want to realize. Is it attainable? Probably not. But it's even less attainable in the landscape that we have today because of the incredible, exorbitant prices of properties, the availability of the properties. Even if you had one available, could you afford it? He says, let's look at what they do in Bermuda. A 50-year mortgage that becomes a generational mortgage. There are two things there that are important. One, you're now recognizing that this loan taken up by mom and daddy may be repaid by the grandchildren, not just their children.
Mm-hmm.
Two, and this is where I have a view, if you were to pay that over 50 years, for argument's sake, or over 30 years versus 5 or 15 or 20, the longer the term, the more interest you pay, but in exchange, the better your cash flow because it's a lower monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
But the second thing that comes to mind immediately is, and I didn't realize how many of us didn't understand that. With respect, you shared with me, and I want to confirm this, knowing that my perception of you, intelligent, university educated, highly experienced, but we're not bankers and accountants and loans officers. So
right.
You shared, if it's okay,
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
please do not be embarrassed, because I honestly did not appreciate that this was not something that not just individuals, not just candidates, but sitting incumbent members of parliament do not know. We do not have a mortgage system in this country, save and but for what the credit union offers. A mortgage is an agreed contractual amount between you and your lender, you and the bank, for a specified period of time, 15 years or 50, doesn't matter. Over that time, you will pay an agreed amount on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever the pay period is. So a monthly sum that does not change over that defined period at a fixed interest rate. What we have in Cayman is a demand loan. Your loan could be performing ahead of schedule or on time if the bank makes a decision based on its assessment of its risk profile and says we're going to call in randomly every 8th mortgage, right? Or they might look at it and say, boy, I don't like John and I don't like Mary, and call a number. They can, not that they will, but their contract can. We agree?
I know it does say that on the papers that you signed, that it's a demand loan.
Right. But it says that, but
we don't know what the terminology.
Right.
I mean, we take it that they can demand payment if you get behind or something. You say, pay this up now. I think that's how most people interpret it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to disrespect anybody or to infer that the banks will. What I'm saying is that is a recognition. Maybe because I worked in the banks. Maybe, thank God, my sisters taught me how to reconcile a checkbook, how to do a trial and balance, a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet from before I was 12 years old. So accounts was, just like how your dad would teach you how to change oil in your car. Whether you, one of my sisters or one of my brothers, if you had a parent or a sibling who's willing to teach you something, and you had the willingness to pay attention, just like how you learn how to make the cassava cake or the conch dinner, you learn how to change the oil, or in my case, accounts, right? I like numbers, right? Numbers, math is fun. I know people say, oh yeah, I know, I'm math and muscular, okay? But why I say that is that incumbent parliamentarians and prior, when I would say to them, this is what exists, we don't have it explained to us. And it is why, as a sort of an important part of what we need to do as we approach governance, is to appreciate, as much as we talk about civics in our schools, we need to have civics in the wider community. I'll champion a number of things as the tip of the spear. The most immediate thing, and this is why I'm honored that Phil would have extended the invitation, why I want to share back and say, come, we need to demonstrate not just to the individual constituencies, but to the wider voting populace and the country. You can have people who may have a different view on how to achieve something, but their view is still the same. What's the best way? And it doesn't matter where you live or vote, you're impacted by these things. So today's discussion, Phil will share, I will share, and there are a number of things that are going to be synergies. They may be a little bit different approach, but the outcome is the same. Quality of life, safety, security, and stability, both economically, but most important, socially and politically. And then third, how do we make Cayman a place where we're united in our endeavors to ensure that we live in a safe place? Here's an interesting word, safe but happy. Right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thanks a lot for having me as a guest, Dwayne and Chalo. Again, to the good people of Red Bay, again, good afternoon, and it's a pleasure again to be able to show myself as Dwayne's guest in this case before you, and I look forward to continuing to be able to come out and continue my canvassing leading up to the 30th, and to hearing more of your thoughts on the things that matter Red Bay as well as to the Cayman Islands. And yes, absolutely. We could obviously spend a lot of time talking about mortgages and loans and that type of thing. I've spent a lot of time over the last 20 years dealing with that. Obviously there's merit to some propositions there, but also I would say that certainly in my experience. And based upon my interaction with banks generally, it's worth more for them to have a properly paid loan on the books than a non-paying loan. Mm-hmm. So generally, once you get into the banking system and you have a mortgage and you're keeping it up, I've never had a client that has come to me and said, hey, I've been paying my loan and it has, they've come and foreclosed on me. And it's obviously there's a whole foreclosure aspect of going at those things. But, is it possible? I suppose so. But we're in Cayman, I'm happy with the fact that we do have fairly good ethical kind of banking relations here in Cayman. I think that it speaks to the sophistication of this jurisdiction as a whole, and certainly looking at different aspects and different types of mortgages and longer terms, shorter terms. I regard that as looking at it from a position of options.
Yeah.
So
access,
let's say that you could only get a 50-year mortgage to start, but because of the outlay and the monthly payments. But hey, your kid came out and he's coming in and he's found himself in a position in the bank because you've been able to now help him on getting his education, and he's making good money. So you pay it off in 25 years. You always come back to that option. If you have the option of doing it, different options of doing it, then you find one that fits your family life. And so, again, but housing is at the core. I agree with Dwayne. At the core of family life, and it means so much to us, social well-being, that we need to definitely do all we can to improve our housing ability in Cayman.
Let's hit the pause button right there. We have to go to a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Big decisions need real data. Before we vote on April 30th, we deserve to know the full picture.
A cruise pair would require dredging large areas of seabed, placing our marine life, coral reefs, and water quality at risk. While Cayman would carry the environmental and economic burden, the cruise lines stand to benefit the most. They already take up to 70% of cruise passenger spending through onboard shops and exclusive partnerships. Is it worth risking what makes Cayman special so that cruise corporations can earn even more? Vote no on April 30th.
Let's protect what makes Cayman unique. Vote no to cruise berthing infrastructure.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions, one powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City, Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
Easter camping? Don't leave a mess behind. From the beach to the bush, clean up after yourself and take your trash with you. Littering is not just unsightly, it's illegal. Keep our islands clean for everyone to enjoy. Our power, our planet. A message from the Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its Cayman Brac customers of a planned service interruption on the south side of the island. The interruption will take place on Wednesday, the 16th of April from midnight until 4 a.m. and will impact Southside Road West, Gerard Smith Avenue, including all side roads, a portion of Cross Road between the junction of Gerard Smith Avenue and the Water Authority's West End Waterworks. This interruption will take place to facilitate distribution system tests. The motoring public is asked to be cautious while driving in the area, as our crew will be actively working on the road during this time. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates the public's understanding.
Big decisions need real data. Before we vote on April 30th, we deserve to know the full picture.
The last cruise pier proposal would have cost us $400 million, and that was in 2019. Today, construction costs are even higher. Who pays? Not the cruise lines. They profit from onboard shopping and exclusive partnerships, keeping most of what passengers spend. Meanwhile, Caymanian businesses see a shrinking share of cruise revenue. Before we take on a project of this scale, we need to ensure it benefits us. Vote no on April 30th.
Caymanians should benefit from our tourism, not cruise corporations. Vote no to cruise berthing infrastructure.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today, and in the studio we have West Bay South independent candidate Sterling Dwayne Ebanks and Red Bay independent candidate Philip Ebanks. Now, you've all reciprocated on being each other's guest here. Is it fair for the listening public to make the assumption that there is some kind of alliance between the two of you?
I'll answer first and allow Phil. Right? What I said at the outset isn't just that this is reciprocity. What is the recognition is that we live in